All right, so we've done a lot of branding work. Let's take a break from that and kind of work on some really fun color-based things. If you are someone who's experienced in marketing and branding, you understand the importance of color. Not only are photos and captions the currency of Instagram, but having a set color scheme is really important. Now you may be thinking, how the heck am I supposed to create a color scheme for my Instagram account? And you do that through filters. Filters are a really important aspect of any Instagram account. And I will say there are some Instagram accounts who do not need and should not ever use an Instagram filter. So we're gonna walk through a couple of examples of Instagram profiles to kind of help you get some ideas going and understand how these people have taken filters and used color schemes. And then we're also gonna work through a couple of really great Canva tools that are included in worksheet number 8. So let's talk about color. Color can be fun. Color can also be detrimental to your brand. So when it comes to choosing colors that you want to utilize on both your website and your Instagram account and within the products that you might have or be creating, it's important to choose colors that are not only on trend and keep up with the trends, but also adhere to the beliefs and the behaviors that you've already established through the worksheets that we've accomplished together previously. So let's walk through the worksheet together really quick so that we can really start to understand some of the key concepts as we go through Instagram account examples and the tools themselves. So as I said, color plays a vital role in the Instagram world, both online and offline. It's an important identification tool for your brand. So as we walk through this worksheet, I'm gonna point out some really basic marketing concepts. So when you think of the brand Target, what colors do you think of? Red, right? Red is the key color to Target. And not only is it identified as that brand, but the target that Target uses in their brand is also red. Targets traditionally are red. So they're playing off of a color that already has a strong sense in your brain that they can just continuously market to you with. Not to mention, Target is always on target with all their products. Let's be real. Aside from Target, there are other brands like Starbucks. Starbucks used to have really different brand colors. When I was really young growing up in Seattle, Starbucks had brown brand coloring. I mean, like, that's the most boring color you could possibly think of, right? No offense to brown, but brown should only be used sparingly. So when Starbucks initially began redesigning their brand in the early 90s, it was really important that they chose a color that could help them identify themselves as inherently Pacific Northwest and coffee and its own unique brand within the coffee world. And thereupon they landed with green and white, which may seem like some really basic colors, but when you think of the color green, you're thinking of success and you're thinking of money and all of the things that people tend to associate with Starbucks, right? So having those strong brand colors is really important, and you don't always need to have more than 2 or 3. Another really great brand to think of is FedEx. FedEx is orange and purple. You always know when FedEx is coming. You always know where you can see a FedEx when you're driving by or when the box is arriving, because those colors are so branded to them. And it's really important that you begin to think of color as it's being branded to your brand. So aside from those popular brands, let's talk about everything else that you're going to be working on. If you look through worksheet number 8, you'll see that towards the bottom middle of the worksheet, I talk about Canva being a really great resource tool. If you are not a designer and you are not someone who is really great or just has that like instinct to choose colors that will speak to your audience, use Canva. It's a great tool. Everything's pre-built for you, and templates, they're hit or miss sometimes, but if you're looking for something to inspire you when you're learning how to use Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator, Canva is also great for that too. So when you go to your worksheet, click on the Color Combinations tool located here. Then click and open up the Design School link. It's going to redirect you to this really great article that has 100 different color combinations. When I'm initially working with new Instagram clients on creating their strategy, this is where I go first to identify what kind of brand colors we can create for them if they don't already have an established brand. There's a fresh and bright, there's subdued and professional, all the way down to outdoorsy and lots of really refreshing and pretty colors. Like, I love this refreshing and pretty setting. It's number 9 on the list, and it's great. Teals and greens and yellows and pinks really brings in nature without it being inherently outdoors in the mountain. It's something that can involve not only nature, but urban life as well, especially if you're bringing in plants and flowers and bouquets and stuff like that. It's great. So let's look at an example of someone who utilizes some of these more naturally based colors. The Instagram account that you're looking at right now is called The Motherhood Kind. I love following Aaliyah. She's a great person to follow because not only does she talk about her personal life as a mother and a pregnant mother currently, she also talks about brand products and does a lot of product placement. So she's a great inspiration tool to really understand how you can create a personalized influencer-based account, but also work on classily, I don't know how you say the word, you know what I mean. How you can insert these products without banging someone over the head with whatever it is you're trying to sell them that day. I love her account also because it involves the color scheme number 9 on our Canva sheet. This color scheme, you can see that it's brought through in the majority of her photos. When you're picking a color scheme for your account, think about how you can translate that through the surroundings that you live in. Now, I live in Arizona. I can't necessarily involve a lot of these pinks and greens unless I want to involve cactus and some desert flowers. But even then, a lot of my surroundings are brown because I live in the desert. If you live in the desert, it's going to be really challenging and make you really have to work hard for your photos if you want to involve that color scheme, unless you're going to be staging everything in your house. In that case, maybe don't do that. So aside from the great color scheme that Malia has created on her Instagram account, she's also incorporating all of the products and talking about her personal life as well as the products and how they enhance her life. For influencers or Instagram users like you who might be trying to become an influencer, reading and researching and creating a list of competitors who aren't necessarily competitors, but just great examples to base your ideas off of is something that you should begin doing now, especially when you're going through the color stage. Every time you look at another person's Instagram account, think about how their account has been successful. What do you like about their account? What do their users who have commented on their posts say? Now let's talk about your website. Your website is really important, and we'll get to that in a later video, or if you want to skip ahead to talk about how important a website and Instagram are so you can start working on a website now, which I suggest doing, we can do that. Just let's talk about this first. So if you're going to be picking a color scheme for your Instagram account, it doesn't necessarily have to directly relate to your website, because on Instagram, it's just about a filter. On your website, it's literally going to be about those colors. So the other Canva tool that I'd like for you to click on is the website color schemes. You're going to click on the link, it'll take you to the design school, and then it'll redirect you back to Canva again, which design school is Canva. This tool is also going to give you a lot of really great color schemes that you can create for your website and also mildly involve in your Instagram profile. There are different ways to kind of identify what colors are going to work for you, and you can also refer back to your brand word jacking worksheet to understand what people might have said about the color that you're currently using or the style of photography that you currently use, and kind of gauge where you should go and what direction you should take when it comes to listening to that feedback. So aside from talking about brand colors and how important that is and understanding that filters are also important, let's talk a little bit about where you can find those Instagram filters. Now, if you begin researching Instagram filters, there's this great thing called Instagram and Facebook ads, and you'll be targeted hard with a lot of different filters. These are filters that are going to cost like $47 to $50 to $250 for some of these really great filter packs. And you may be really inclined to snag one of those because it's offering you some kind of deal. But let me tell you something. Go to Etsy.com, type in the kind of Instagram filter you're looking for, or just type in Instagram filter and you'll be flooded with tons of different kinds of filters. These filters range in prices from $3.25 to $25 and sometimes a little bit more expensive. But these filters work exactly the same way as some of these other targeted Instagram filters do. Make sure that you do your research when you're looking for an Instagram filter. Choose one that's really going to adhere to the look and feel that you want to create and the experience you're trying to capture for your users on your Instagram profile. That's basically how you're going to pick the best one. Just think about what your users are going to like. Look at your competitors. Look at the examples that you've been following. Filters are important, not just because they make your Instagram account pretty. They're important because they help bring a clear, concise, visual perspective to your brand. If you're all over the place with a quote here and a color there and pink, and you don't even use pink on your website ever, and it's totally out of character, there better be a really good reason why you're using that color on your profile if it has nothing to do with who you are as an individual. A really great account that you can look to when it comes to utilizing a variety of imagery and a variety of photo styles is Stephanie O'Connell. She is a wonderful, brilliant personal finance blogger, and she has a kick-ass Instagram account. The only thing that isn't necessarily on point is a lot of her imagery. And I am saying that because I love her and I think that all of her content is great. And it doesn't matter if it's not on brand, because it's on brand with her personality. And that's something that I really want you to understand too. While we're talking about all these brand colors and Instagram filters and the importance of all of these things, there is a level of throwing it out the window with this. Really, think about what your users and readers and everyone else that you're trying to target need and want to experience on your Instagram profile. For Stephanie, her users don't really care about whether or not she's using a filter on her photo or has a perfectly curated piece of content that she shares. Her profile is really more on point with the personality that she has created for herself when it comes to her brand. And that's why her account is successful. It doesn't matter that she's not using branded colors all the time, or that her profile has 2 quotes in a row and 1 photo, or 5 photos in a row and then a quote, and feels random. It doesn't matter, because that's what works for people that follow her. They're about the content that she writes, not about the colors that she's using. But that's not always true. Like I said, you can throw this all out the window and try going the route of randomness and things that really speak to your customers and clients and readers. Or you can also try going with your branded colors and creating a clear, minimalistic style of Instagram account. Whatever is going to work for you and your brand is what's important. So with that said, we have one other worksheet that we're going to include in this video. If you refer to worksheet number 9, you're going to think, what in the hell is this? Why am I writing a letter to myself? And let me back up and explain a little bit. So we've done all this work on your brand, and we've talked about color a lot and the importance of every single one of these elements. And now we're gonna talk about, ourselves and write a letter to ourselves. And this is an important part of the process. It's crucial that you give yourself the time and the brain space to think about your goals personally. Are you building this brand to sell the account later on, or are you building this brand to build a future for you and your family, or the potential family that you'll have down the line? If you are focusing on the future, then really understanding how that future is going to look and painting a picture for yourself is going to help you understand what goals you want to set for your strategies later on. So in worksheet number 9, you're going to write a letter to yourself. And in this letter, I want you to get as personal, as deep, and as passionate, or as negative, or as positive as you need to be. It doesn't matter what anyone else is thinking about you as a person. This is all about you, getting in your head, thinking about who you are, your beliefs, your ideals, your behaviors, everything that has happened to you up until this point that has made you who you are, and how you can then take all of that information and excel into creating a strategy. It's to get out all your thoughts and feelings. And this is something that I want you to choose to do. It's not a requirement of this course in order to create a successful brand, but it will help you, and it will give you the time to really understand who you are as a brand. That's it for this video. A little heavy at the end there. I know. But the important thing is that we talked about Instagram brand colors and the concept of not even using brand colors at all. So I want you to do this for me. Go to the Facebook group right now, and if you haven't been accepted into the Facebook group, it might be because you purchased a basic package. You can upgrade your videos at any point in time. Just email me, sarah@motherofmarketing.co, and I'll be more than happy to help you figure out how we can get you into our Facebook group. In this Facebook group, this is what I'd like for you to do. I want you to give us an example of an A/B test, which is testing one thing against another, of your Instagram profile, whether it's with your bio or your filters or your images or your brand colors or not using any of that, and tell us what kind of results you're looking for. Set yourself up with a goal. Then go on and do your testing, and then switch it up and do your testing again, and then come back and share your results with us. Which one worked out better for you? What did your readers and users and customers respond to best with? And then that's it. Thank you again for watching this really oddly heavy but fun and colorful video, and we're going to be discussing some really great stuff in the next one. So take a breather if you need to. This is a great stopping point to kind of take a week to cool out and relax and just keep your brain off of your brand so that you can come back to it with a fresh mindset and be really excited to jump into the next concepts.